Welcome back to N8.4 Lesson 3. We're talking about order of operations with fractions today. We're going to do a little review on bedmass and adding and subtracting fractions just so you can get through all these problems. So just recall bedmass is brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. And I have it set up in a hopscotch format, and I'll show you why here. So solving problems with multiple operations is easy, even with fractions. You follow the same rules. So solve anything in brackets first, calculate the exponents if any. There shouldn't be any that will show up in this lesson because that's in the higher grades. Division and multiplication come next in the order they appear, and then addition and subtraction are last, again in the order they appear in the question. So think of division and multiplication as being married. That's what my visuals are here. Although they're together, sometimes the wife goes first and sometimes the husband goes first. So the same goes for addition and subtraction. It's the order they appear in the question. So these can be flipped around. Okay, so here's an example. I'm going to pull these stars just to remind you what you got to do here. First, you're going to find a common denominator. So both 4 and 3, the common denominator is 12. That's your lowest common denominator, and that's the route you want to go. So to get a common denominator, you got to find the equivalent fractions. So in order for 4 to get to 12, you got to multiply by 3. What you do to the bottom, you do to the top, and vice versa. So 1/4 is going to equal 3/12. 1/3 is going to equal 4/12. So then you can actually add those together. I'm just going to slide this all the way over there. Okay, so here we have it set up. And your answer is going to be 7/12. This is just to make sure it's in the smallest form. We wouldn't actually write this, so I'm just going to slide that off the page. Okay, so quick reminder there. Let's do a question. All right, when you look at this question, it's like, are you kidding me? But really, it's a lot simpler than it looks. Okay, so let's remember bedmass. I'm actually just going to write that over here to remind myself. And first thing is brackets. I do see brackets, so I'm going to leave everything else alone and I'm going to rewrite it. Okay. Now, I'm actually going to do this off to the side because it clutters up my question a fair bit and it's a fairly simple addition. So 1/8, I know that 8 is going to be my common denominator, so I'm going to change 1/4 to 8s. In order to do that, 4 times 2 will equal 8. So what I do to the top, I do the bottom, right? And I'll have 2 8s here. So inside that bracket is going to give me 3 8s. So I'm going to rewrite that. Okay, now next we have exponents, no. Division, yes. Multiplication, yes. In the order they occur. So this is coming first, so we'll rewrite 3/4. Now remember, division, we have to multiply the reciprocal, so let's write that out that way instead. So let's flip that. Okay, just make sure you keep concentrating on this part. And we're going to have 2 times 5 is 10, 3 times 4 is 12, and rewrite what we haven't touched yet. Okay, now we're doing multiplication right here. And if you think back to our previous units, let's make these smaller before we multiply them, right? We can look on the diagonal to see if we can reduce, and for sure we can because you can see 2 goes into both of these. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 3 goes into both of these. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 12 divided by 3 is 4. We got a little bit of a mess going on here, so let's rewrite this nice and neat. Okay, and now we've got our multiplication here. Let's carry on with this. 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 4 is 16. Now we're back to needing a common denominator. Fortunately, this one's pretty easy to see that 16 will be the common denominator. Okay, so in order to get to 16, I got to multiply by 4, top and bottom. And that'll give me 12 over 16 minus 5 over 16, which gives me my answer of 7/16. Okay, so not entirely difficult. Just a lot of steps and a lot of making sure you follow the rules of bedmass. Make sure you rewrite out parts that are getting messy, but do make sure to do that reduction in here, otherwise you get big numbers here and then it's a reduction later. This is actually example 2 of the visual notes. They reduce a little bit higher up. You can look at that, and if you prefer to do that way, that's fine too. And I think you should be good to go for your lesson. I'll see you in the next one.